I have a little bit of a astrological hot take. I am a Pisces rising with my Saturn in the 12th house in Pisces, with I think a couple of asteroids in Pisces and my Lilith in Pisces conjunct my ascendant in the 12th house. So it's really hard for me to pinpoint where this is coming from. My mother is a Virgo stellium and my dad is a Pisces. Follow me. I'm not trying to badmouth them. My mother is no longer here with us. My dad, we've made up. So if you're seeing this, don't take it personal. It's just astrology. But my mother was a single mom, and she is an earth sign, and we all know earth signs, they like to complain. I'm not going to get into what. One of those subjects was my father, and from where I was standing as a kid, I just seen it one way. I don't know if it has to do with having a moon in Aquarius and processing things very differently, or having Mercury at 11 degrees, being kind of naive, then later finding out. And then you're processing, it's a little bit delayed. But I always looked at my mom and I was like, if you didn't like this man, why did you have a baby by him? That's something that always stuck in my mind. It really shaped the way I view relationships. You know what I mean? I guess Jupiter in Libra, and then it's in the 7th house, and then my mom having a moon in Libra. I don't know if that played a role. Whoever is an astrologer, if y'all can put this together, go ahead, stitch this video. Please put it together for me. I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes of this video. I just perceived my mom as being so unhappy with the fact that she had kids with my dad. She would talk about it so often. I never really looked at my dad in a negative way other than what she said until I looked at the reality that he wasn't there. And as a kid, I had fish tanks. I loved fish. I had them in my room, in the living room. They were all mine. They were just all over the house. And I loved them so much, that I would just sit and stare at them to the point where I was having dreams about the fish tanks. I mean, they've been in my life all my life. My dad loved fish tanks. And, Pisces rules dreams and fish and water. I would have this reoccurring dream all the way till I was about 25, 26. Maybe younger than that. I can't really remember when it stopped. And I've always had this phobia of having kids out of wedlock. Let me add that in there. But this dream I would approach the fish tank and I would check on my fish and I would look and see that they were still alive. Now, mind you, it had been about maybe 4 or 5 months since I had fed the fish or cleaned the water in the dream. Okay? We all know what happens when you don't feed your fish or when the water is dirty. But in my mind, in the dream space, I'm like, wow, these fish are still alive. Wow. Oh well, I guess they'll be okay. And then as I got older, and after I lost my virginity, of course, and started dating, and I would deal with certain people, that dream, it would reoccur all the way up until I got into a serious relationship with somebody who I wasn't really comfortable with having children with, where I realized I don't want to have a kid with this person. But I didn't leave. I kept, teetering back and forth between staying and going. And that dream kept reoccurring, where I would walk up to my fish tank and I would see the fish. They were still alive. The water was cloudy, but they were still alive. And I feel like those fish being a responsibility was symbolic of me possibly passing down a generational curse to my kids. I don't have kids right now. One day when I'm stable and, I meet somebody, of course, that's not going to act crazy, I'll think about it. But I really feel like that dream was symbolic. And I want to know if anybody else has these dreams like that, or if that is just like a unique thing, or if there's somebody that has something similar to that. Another example of another dream. Anytime I'm thinking about like an earthquake and the ground is shattering and falling through and everybody's running around and there's chaos and it's just pandemonium and it's just obviously a lot of chaotic things going on like a zombie apocalypse. I always experience some big shift in my life, like I had one before I moved here, or it was something where people are being chased by some type of apocalyptic movie where it's men with chainsaws for arms and heads and they're chopping people up. It's some kind of big dream, and then my life changed. But I stopped having that dream about the fish when I decided I don't want to be with certain people just because of the wrong reasons. After I decided to stop doing that, I stopped having that dream. So, is there anybody out there that can piece that together? I have I have Saturn in Pisces at 0 degrees in the 12th house, 29 degrees Pisces rising. I think that the other degrees they may not matter, but if I need to add anything in there, I will. Somebody please piece that together. Whoever is into astrology.